Do you know anything about this?
I do. I do.
What's going on?
There's a lot going on. And what's bizarre is that China is dumping insane amounts of money. I think the estimation in the American dollar is $250 billion into their AI program. Their AI program is also allegedly involves a little bit of espionage. So it involves a little bit of stealing some of the data from OpenAI and some of these other places. And one of the things that does happen, of course, with these sort of enormous technology breakthroughs is that you're going to have certain foreign governments that are trying to infiltrate these research centers.
Yeah.
They're trying to get access to this information, and the speculation is that they have done that, and that they are more advanced because of it than we're even aware of, and that they're dumping untold amounts of resources sort of unchecked. The response to this is probably what the government just recently announced, what the Trump administration...
Oh, the $500 billion thing.
Right.
Yeah.
This is probably in response to that.
Okay.
That there's an AI arms race that's going on right now, and whoever gets to the front of the line first is going to be in an insane position of power.
Yeah, Joe is absolutely right. We're in an AI arms race. It's a new geopolitics, a literal cyber politics that's changing the world as we speak. Here's President Trump directly addressing what scholars are calling AI nationalism.
We don't want to have any future president ever sabotage our economy with out-of-control regulations as the last two Democrat presidents have done. They went crazy. Last week, I signed an order revoking Joe Biden's destructive artificial intelligence regulations so that AI companies can once again focus on being the best, not just being the most woke. And today and over the last couple of days, I've been reading about China and some of the companies in China, one in particular, coming up with a faster method of AI and much less expensive method. And that's good because you don't have to spend this much money. I view that as a positive, as an asset. So I really think if it's fact and if it's true, and nobody really knows if it is, but I view that as a positive because you'll be doing that too. So you won't be spending as much and you'll get the same result, hopefully. The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even
a wake-up call. That's what President Trump is calling the rollout of DeepSeek, a Chinese AI model that's sending shockwaves throughout the American AI industry, particularly NVIDIA. Shares for the AI giant plunged a record 17%, wiping out nearly $600 billion in market cap upon news that DeepSeek provides the exact same performance, but for 11 times less the hardware costs. Now, generally speaking, AI requires a tremendous amount of energy. It takes, and that energy takes up the bulk of investors' capital. They spend billions on AI-focused infrastructure. Aside from the cost of acquiring so many advanced chips, they also use up a lot of electricity. They take up a whole lot of overall power supply. That costly infrastructure is precisely what DeepSeek overcomes. So the Chinese company appears to have completely disrupted the entire AI market, requiring far less demand for chips, far less need for a massive buildup of power production to fuel the models, less need for large-scale data centers. And that's the key. It's not simply a matter of DeepSeek's performance capabilities. It's the innovation of the entire infrastructure of AI production that's the secret sauce to its success. And as President Trump said, it's a very real wake-up call for American engineers to step up to the plate of this historic moment we're in with AI. Trump has repealed permanently Joe Biden's ridiculous executive order that basically wokeified AI. Did you see this? They called it algorithmic justice. It's just absolute total absurdity disguised as progress. Yes, algorithmic justice. Algorithmic justice, it just basically attempted to infuse wokeness all throughout AI capabilities. Now, why the Biden administration thought this would be successful, especially with China's rising AI technology is anyone's guess. Again, competence was not one of the main characteristics of the Biden administration, but Trump has officially ended that nonsense and is freeing up American engineers to pursue the most vibrant and powerful AI technologies out there. And this is because President Trump recognizes that we are entering into a new, literally cosmic, planetary era known as the noosphere. Now, this is a very important concept for everyone to understand. We've talked about it before in this channel. It's becoming more and more of a defining dynamic in our lives, if not the defining dynamic. The noosphere. It's a term coined by the Catholic scientist and visionary Teilhard de Chardin, as well as the Russian geochemist Vladimir Vernadsky. And the idea of the noosphere, I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. It refers to the state of being that arises when human intellection and consciousness becomes every bit a part of the cosmos as the planetary system itself. So that planetary system, of course, begins with the geosphere, right? The development of the crust, the mantle, the core of the Earth. That's the geosphere. Then you've got the biosphere that involves the ecosystem that produces and nourishes life. But then what theorists have noticed is that there's a third stage in this planetary development, and that's what's called the noosphere. And this is where the human mind, nous in the Greek, we get that word noetic from it. The human mind, the nous, it doesn't merely figure out how to adapt and survive in the biosphere. It learns how to transform and transcend it, to transfigure the biosphere in such a way that has the potential of unleashing human flourishing. So the collective human mind, expressed technologically in cyberspace, is now every bit a shaping force in the universe as are geological and biological processes. That's in effect what the noosphere is. The human mind interacts with those processes, those geological or geospheric, biospheric processes, as part of the universe's ongoing creation. And this is precisely how AI is being interpreted by a number of scientists and visionaries. As the scientific journalist Robert Wright has put it, the cosmic significance of AI can be boiled down to these 8 words. Artificial intelligence is the crystallization of the noosphere. Artificial intelligence is the crystallization of the noosphere. AI would function here as a kind of global superbrain that would serve as the connective tissue to link individual human minds together in this extraordinary manifestation of this cyberspatial noosphere. But as with everything, this growing noosphere has significant geopolitical consequence and indeed competition. And that is where things are really starting to heat up. But speaking of cyberspace and technology, I know there's a lot of you out there who want to get into Bitcoin and crypto, but you simply don't know how. But guess what? We got you covered here on this channel. Here's your opportunity to get in the Bitcoin game with our good friend Dan Ryder of Prime DeFi. Dan has helped thousands discover and learn about how to get into Bitcoin and learn all kinds of amazing crypto strategies. Dan and Prime DeFi are leading a movement of kingdom-minded patriots on a mission to leave their corporate jobs and build a legacy for future generations, especially if you're a complete and total beginner. So don't wait. Click on the link below right now to book a call with Dan and his team and let them walk you through the process. You don't need to gamble on high-risk cryptos to experience exceptional returns. There's a path for every comfort zone, but slots are limited. So don't wait. Click on that link below and book a call with Dan and his team and get into the amazing rising world of Bitcoin and crypto today. What's actually happening, as Joe Rogan alluded to earlier, is that we're seeing a new kind of geopolitics emerging, what venture capitalist Ian Hogarth calls AI nationalism. And this is where states are increasingly shaping their national policies to the wider AI landscape and competing against each other for AI supremacy. And here's what's so fascinating in all of this. At a geopolitical level, AI is very much like the new oil. We've talked about this before. AI is like the new oil. So just as oil shaped international alliances and diplomacy in the 20th century, so now new alliances will increasingly overlap in cooperation surrounding the latest developments in AI. Russian President Vladimir Putin understood this back in 2017. He actually argued that the nation that masters AI first is the one that will control the world. He who controls AI will control the world. And so what that means is that AI nationalism is basically giving rise to a very real kind of AI arms race, particularly between the United States and China. And again, the notion here is that the nation that develops the most advanced AI technology is the one that's going to enjoy the greatest economic, political, and military benefits over all other nations. The Brookings Institute recently published a piece that argued that whoever controls AI by 2030, just 5 years from now, will basically rule the century. Again, check out what Joe Rogan had to say about it.
In a sense, it's similar to the space race, but this one is probably more consequential.
Probably more consequential because essentially when you're dealing with quantum computing and AI and you put the two of those together, which they haven't done yet, but once they do, what is that? That sounds like a god.
Yeah.
It does. It sounds like something that can do things that doesn't even make sense. It's going to have the kind of understanding of the universe that we would only dream of right now.
Right.
And it's probably a week away or a month away or a year away or whatever it is.
So
it's going to happen quick.
I mean, seriously, imagine you had an AI that could figure out, like, say, the ultimate business model, right? You had an AI that can determine how to beat all other businesses out there in virtually any industry. And then you pour capital into building businesses based on that AI. That nation would have a massive economic and financial advantage over any other nation. Or what if you had an AI that could not only figure out all the defensive weaknesses of a rival nation, but also possibly even neutralize their nuclear capabilities? Then you have an immediate implosion in the balance of geopolitical power. I mean, he who owns AI will own the world. So currently, as we speak, China is pouring trillions of dollars on AI research. They're absolutely determined to win this arms race hands down, and thereby not be merely the global leader, but the leader of the globe. That is what DeepSeek is a foretaste of. And President Trump wants precisely that leadership role in AI for America. That's why he's calling it a wake-up call. Trump wants the United States to be the global leader of AI and thereby lead the globe. So that's the geopolitical contest, a cyber political contest that's before us. And as Rogan pointed out, it may turn out to be the biggest contest of them all.